Sondra, welcome, and you're going to tell us a little bit today about how you came to Dr. Daines.
Well, I realized a few years ago, that I needed hearing aids. Started with my grandchildren, and they were all very, very polite about it, but they would tell me something, and I'd say, huh? And then they'd tell me again, and I'd say, huh? And they'd say, never mind. So that went on for a few years, but now I work in the temple, and of course everyone up there whispers. And at a certain
it would be difficult, right, if you can't hear.
And I was having a lot of problems, and then we were assigned a special assignment where that's how I got my instructions, was by whispering, and I realized I really needed to get on this right away, and I was thoroughly confused. I had no idea where to go. There are so many options, and so I was walking through my living room one day, and my husband had the Valley Channel on, and I saw this lady. Her name is Karen, that I know from the temple, and she was talking about Dr. Daines. And I'm going, wow, and I sat down there and listened to that, and I thought, this was not a mistake, or it would happen for a reason, because I needed to know. And so I called and made an appointment. And I told my husband, and anyway, the day came of the appointment, and we had been getting these flyers in the mail from a very well-known hearing aid company all the time, and he happened to have one, and he said, you know what, let's go over a little early, and let's go check in with this other place and see what we find out.
So you could do a comparison between the two. That was probably a good idea.
I never really thought about it, but I thought, gee, that sounds like a really good idea. Right. So we did. We went over and we sat through this, experience. I think I remember maybe a slight hearing test. Nothing that I really remember for sure. But
not like a proper physical hearing test?
Not like I would have expected. Okay. Very brief, and a lot of talk. And eventually, when we finally got to the point where he would finally give us a price, he said $7,000.
Wow. And that, with everybody, that's the nitty-gritty of the whole situation there. You want the price, right?
Yeah.
And you got it.
And it took him a while, and then I could see why he was hesitant. Right. Well, my husband and I said, thank you very much, we'll be in touch. Right. And then we came over to my appointment with Dr. Daines. And I am here to tell you, it was like night and day the minute I walked in the first place. But learning more about him, having him tell me a little bit about him and his qualifications. And I know he's a PhD, and I know what it takes to get a PhD because my daughter just, went through that whole process, not with the hearing, but in education. And so I knew that he had spent many, many years and had a lot of experience. And then the hearing test was the thing that I thought, wow, he really knows what he's doing.
Probably extremely thorough, right?
So much more than I ever realized it would be, and he actually did it for my husband and myself, but I thought, I just knew I was in the right place. I thought, this is where I want to be.
Right. So here you are. Do you have your hearing aids already?
Oh yes, I've had them. In fact, he told me, he said, we have a custom here that you are actually able to wear your hearing aids for 30 days. And then if you want to bring them back, no problem, you can do that. And so he put my hearing aids on me, and I said, I'm not going to need the 30 days. No. You're not going to take these hearing aids away from me, ever.
You have to fight him down because I was looking at your ear and I can't see anything. There's no sort of sign that you're wearing them at all.
People cannot tell, and I was at the point really where I'd thought about that over the years. I don't want anybody to know, and you get to a point where wisdom overtakes, I think, foolishness, and I thought, I really don't care, right. But they don't show anyway. So all of all of those little things that I used to think about were important were not.
Well, I think it probably shows the difference between just going to sort of almost like a box company as opposed to somebody like Dr. Daines, who has just so many qualifications. I think he's one of 2 people board certified here in the Valley, and I think he's only one of maybe 8 or 10 in the whole state. So you can be really comfortable putting yourself in Dr. Daines' hands. Was that your experience?
It certainly was, and I've told a lot of people about him. In my age bracket, we had the people, a lot of people do need hearing aids, and some of them had the same question I had, where do I start? Right. And so, but I was so impressed and still am, and he's here for me whenever I drop in. I need a hearing aid, he'll clean them for me, and I drop in and get my batteries and visit with him, and And he just, I can't say enough about how my experience has been.
Okay.
Very, very well worth it, and I would recommend Dr. Daines to anybody, everybody. And I have.
And you have, I was going to say, she's very keen on this. So, very clearly, and I'm sure everybody finds themselves in this position every now and then where they just don't know where to go. Do what Sondra did, give Dr. Daines' office here at Cache Valley Hearing a call and come in and see what they can do for you. Thank you so much, Sondra. It was a pleasure to meet you, and I'm glad you can hear again.
Oh, I am too. Thank you.